Hi guys, I just wanted to do one more. I thought I was done, but I needed to do this one because I know after the last one, where we were talking about the scourgings and the Greek word mastics, I started talking about Luke 4:21 towards the end, where Jesus says that the kingdom is fulfilled in your hearing. And some of you will think, wow, what does that mean? Because there's a lot of brokenness in this world. So the kingdom of God is not all there is. There's also still these kingdoms of darkness and these kingdoms of human beings who are being influenced by the darkness. What's that all about? And some of you may be familiar with the idea of the now but not yet. And I think we just need to kind of close out this little section of deep dives with just reminding ourselves about this. The kingdom is present, it is fulfilled, but it is not consummated. It is not comprehensively present, but it is in every aspect of its being present. So every aspect of the kingdom of God, every way it manifests. In Luke chapter 4, he gives us a few. Good news to the poor, release to the captive, sight to the blind, liberation for the oppressed. In every aspect of that, it is present, but it is not fully present. Why? Why is that the way it is? Well, because if a will exists that is other than God's will, then there is freedom to reject God's will. And there will come a day when all who have bent the knee to His will and said, your will be done, and everything will operate under the good, perfect, and beautiful will and heart of our God. But right now, He has allowed the freedom for other wills to exist, spiritual and physical. And He's done that because He longs to see more and more submit to His good and beautiful will, because it's what we were created for. So it's the longing heart of seeking and searching and finding and including. It's an inclusive heart of God that persists and is patient, longing for that more would be saved. But that means that there's more than one will in this world. And that means that other hearts and minds will choose to reject God's ways, and it will empower the enemy and the dark forces behind the kingdoms of men to accomplish their means and to bring about further brokenness in this world. It's a creation that is decaying under these false powers and these false kingdoms, but it is not undone yet until that moment comes when enough, and He steps onto the stage and there's only one will that remains. One of the things that I do want to emphasize here, maybe in just the last 60 to 90 seconds, is that a tool the enemy uses to keep us trapped in less power than we are meant to have is the lie of the religious spirit. Now, the religious spirit feeds on disappointment. And what it does is it just kind of pulls in the boundary markers and goes, well, I can't expect too much because of disappointment, and doesn't actually experience the power that comes in His kingdom. And so what we get instead are words without power, beliefs without manifestations, rituals without liberation. And the enemy is fine with that. If you want to stay a slave, even if you are born again and saved, he is absolutely fine with that. And it is one of the largest tools in his drawer. A powerless church that doesn't realize that it doesn't have to be powerless, because his kingdom is anything but powerless. And this king is anything but powerless. You were meant to experience power because the kingdom of God manifests in power. And the religious spirit that somehow just kind of meekly settles for less doesn't please the heart of God keeps us encased in disappointment and the avoidance of disappointment and fear when there's so much more in the inheritance that he purchased for us. So step free from that. If that's somewhere where you're at, it's a very simple process. You just say, I'm sorry, Lord, I never realized how much you purchased for me. I want everything that you have for me. And I'm willing to be disappointed in order to experience the power that you purchased for me. It's that simple. Great, guys. All right. We'll see you again soon.